But yeah, in terms of like they kind of have like a DoorDash app that we do, but
Oh, okay.
literally like it has food delivery, it has currency exchange, it has a language translator. It's like
Damn.
without that, I would have. There's
I
no
was
way.
getting ready to say that's what I was getting ready to say now. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
how did you get through the language barrier and all that?
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
And even then, like it was really hard.
I can imagine.
What is going on, everybody? You are listening to the Built for War podcast. I am your host, Austin Trotter, accompanied by just one co-host today, Mr. Michael Musick.
What's up, String Freaks?
We, like always, appreciate the likes, comments, and subscribes. If you guys wouldn't mind just taking a minute to go down there, hit that like button, hit that comment, whatever you guys want to do, just help us spread the word, and that way we can start showcasing more people and getting the name out.
Dude, we want to be like security worldwide right now. Like everywhere. So top flight security is the world, Craig. Okay. And that way that works is by you guys spreading the love. So no, we appreciate everybody that's has been subscribing, commenting, or any of those kinds of things. So we love the feedback, and like I always say, bring the haters, bring the bitches, or bring the good stuff. Like it's all good. So just interact with it, and I love it. So
Yeah, and shout out to Mr. Chase McGee.
Mr. McGee.
He's always commenting on
Always.
that,
That's what I mean. He's
on
so
the
great
thing.
with it. So
Yeah.
he's so good with it. I appreciate it. So
And so for those of you that aren't watching the YouTube, but you guys are on the Spotify,
dude,
you're missing out. Or no, sorry, you are on the YouTube, so you know what's going on. If you guys are looking at the screen, we've got a special guest today,
do.
Mr. Gavin Bell. How you doing?
I'm good, dude. So a little hungry, a little tired, but that's just how it goes. So
Life of a strongman, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
dude.
Absolutely.
Damn,
I
man.
actually just drank energy drink, so you guys got another one up on me. I see that.
Yep. So, because what are we about an hour difference right now?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
almost 8:15 here
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, an Iowa, out in Dubuque.
Oh,
I love
you're out
that
in
town.
Dubuque.
I do
Okay.
love that town, dude. So if you guys don't know, we met Gavin Bell. Well, the first time me and him competed, and again, we have another person on the podcast from somebody that I competed against. So we were always constantly talking about that. Like that's strongman, bro. It's so good that like you
worldwide.
go. Yeah, I mean, you go to competitions. You battle against these people, but they end up like brothers, and like they're that's camaraderie of strongman.
Yeah.
And I fucking love it. So we keep having guests on, and we met in Dubuque, Iowa, at the Bricktown Showdown. Yeah, the open class, and me and you were like the lightest dudes in the class. So-
Yeah, we were the two smallest guys there, and we were kind of talking in the warm up room, and it's like, dude,
Right.
like because we're both like, well, I'm a 105 now, and you're a 90, and
Yeah.
like we were talking, and I'm like, man, some of these guys are huge,
Dude.
and then yeah, we actually we did really well compared to a lot of those guys, so it wasn't.
Yeah. I know I almost feel like that maybe because was that the second consecutive year or was that the first one?
That was the first one.
Yeah, that was the second.
It was the second one,
Oh,
right?
was
I
the
thought
second
it was the OG. So let me ask you this, because who put on that show? Someone from your area, right? Out of your gym?
Yeah, that's ENG. That's the gym that I train.
That's
at,
what I
yep.
thought. Okay, that's what I thought. And sick gym. What's the name of your gym out there?
Earn Not Given Barbell.
Or not given
Okay.
barbell. Super sick fucking
I mean,
warehouse.
the name's sick enough. As
Yeah,
it is,
like
so.
when we went out there, me and Zach, we did weigh-ins, and then they let us come into the gym, and he gave the passcode, and like we went in, just got like some squats, like just like keeping the blood warm. It was fucking freezing out there, and anyway, that gym was sick, super industrial, like just straight gym rat style. But then they have like monoliths, kilo plates, like it's sick, but it's like super updated. So
Yeah, that's one thing that we're very privileged to have is we have a lot of power lifters in our gym.
yeah.
Because strongman's not as big compared to powerlifting, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, we're growing, but it's definitely not as big. But yeah, a lot of the guys in our gym are powerlifters. So I think we have 4 or 5 different mono racks. We got
Sick.
500 kilos worth of plates. Like it's awesome. Like our gym it's really sweet. And we just this year at the Bricktown Showdown, we bought a couple new sets of Atlas stones. So I don't know if you remember the ones that we used,
I
Mike.
do,
Like
dude, I
those
do.
things were rugged.
They like cracked and shit.
Yeah. I think like 2 of them exploded after they like pulled them off.
They did.
And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
So we got a couple new sets of those. So yeah, the Bricktown Showdown definitely helped our gym grow in terms of like the strongman like recognition, and stuff like that. So we have continued to add equipment and stuff since then. Bringing in new stuff, getting rid of the old. So yeah, Bricktown definitely got ENG's name out there. So.
For sure. So do you know the first year, was it also an open pro show only?
Yeah, it was well, no, I don't think it was a pro only.
Cause like the year,
cause like,
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say, yeah, there was a pro men's and a pro women's class. And I think that year there was only like, I don't know, 4 or 5 girls, just enough to get, just enough for the girls to get paid. I think there had to be 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then I think in the men's class, there was like 12.
Okay.
And I think when you and I did it, there was 36
there
or 32.
was a shit ton. There was like 20, at least 25 of us. And, and then this year, I didn't go this year. Did you compete this year?
No, I was there, but I didn't compete this year.
And this year they opened up like the Pro 220 and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, my theory is it because we were there the year before and they saw that. So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, maybe we should give the little guys a chance. So
the little guys a chance. I like that.
No, but that's huge. That's cool, dude. I'm glad that you got that kind of community based around you, or at least starting to build up a good strength community. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we get too deep into stories like this, let's give the audience just a little bit of information about you, kind of how long you've been doing strongman or just lifting in general. Just kind of give us a general rundown of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have been lifting weights. So I'm 24. I've been lifting weights since I was 13, 12. My dad was very, very thorough in the fact that if I wanted to be a good athlete, that I needed to lift weights.
Okay.
So that was something that I definitely took to heart, and I'm like, you're right. And I fell in love with it from day one.
Oh yeah.
I played 2 years of college football here in Dubuque. I played 1 year in Germany. Wow. So like I was always lifting weights. It wasn't necessarily like strongman. It was more so like, hang cleans, power cleans, athletic lifting stuff. And then COVID happened, and I remember like I didn't want to play football anymore because I was graduating early, and I'm like, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life outside of competing. And 6 months later, I remember I was working as a teacher, and one of the other teachers was like, dude, like you lift weights, like you're strong. He's like, there's a strongman competition in Madison or Stoughton, Wisconsin, but so by Madison. And he's like, we should do it. Like we should just train and go do it for fun. And I'm like, yeah, like I always watched strongman. Like I remember when I was a kid watching it on TV with my dad, and I'm like, yeah, like that'd be something cool to do. And that was in 2021.
Okay.
And I went novice heavyweight. Like I'm like, I just got to get my feet wet, see what it's like. And I think there was 12 guys in my weight class or whatever. And I'm like, oh, if I get like finish in the middle, I'll be happy. Or if I can beat 4 or 5 guys, like I'll be happy. And then after the first event, like something just like a switch flicked, and I'm like, no, I actually want to do this. Like I want to beat these guys. I ended up getting second place in my first show against some pretty good athletes. A lot of the guys that were at Bricktown were actually in that show.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think 5 guys that were in that first the show that I did, we were all at Bricktown. So that was really cool. A lot of the Wisconsin guys from Sheboygan, Rage. So yeah, that was the first show that I ever did. And I don't know, I lit a fire under my ass, dude. And I'm like, I want to do strongman.
Facts.
And then I think, my first year I did 3 or 4 shows, podiumed at all of them. So I was like, all right, maybe I should take a step up.
Mm-hmm.
And then that year was the first year that I went to nationals, or that following year was when I went to nationals. I think you were there too. That was in New Hampshire.
Yeah, we went to that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first ever open show.
Oh,
was
shit.
national.
Okay.
And I finished in the middle, like in the 275 class. I think I was like 30th, and there was like 64 guys. So I'm like, all right, like that's not a bad spot to start.
Absolutely.
Zero the deadlift because
it was heavy
675 opener, like that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like after I got done with that, I'm like, I can actually compete with some of these open guys. So then I started taking it a lot more serious.
Yeah.
Switched over to the gym here in Dubuque because I had been living in Dubuque since 2017, and I didn't start going to my gym until 2022.
Oh shit!
wow.
Okay. Okay.
So I had no idea that there was even a strongman gym here until I started doing it. And then did a couple. I went out to Los Angeles in 2023, 2 weeks before Bricktown. I made a connection with Ode Haugen because I work for World's Strongest Man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm an athlete coordinator. So I've met a lot of people, and he invited me to go out and do the Ode Haugen Classic at the Fit Expo.
Yep.
So I did that, made some more connections. That's actually where I met Lynn Morehouse, the director for OSG for the first time. And then Bricktown was my first pro show. And I got 7th place out of, I don't know, whatever there was, 25, 30 some guys. And then that was just kind of like, all right, I am 100 pounds lighter than a lot of these guys. And that was what you and I had talked about. You and I are the 2 smallest guys there, and we were hanging with the big guys. So I'm like, all right, there's definitely something here that I need to kind of tap into more. And that was when I first started working with Ken McClelland. He was my coach for a while, for over a year and a half. And then that just kind of snowballed into where we're at now. So I did 1 pro show, went back to nationals in Dallas. If I would have got 1 rep on the deadlift, I would have been in the top 10. But 2 years in a row, I zeroed the deadlift. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is.
That's strong.
Yeah, and then what was after that? I think I did a couple like smaller local shows.
Yeah.
And just like through the tricks of the trade, I mean, I made a connection somewhere, and I remember one night it was like 3:00 in the morning. Like I have insomnia. I got a sleep CPAP, sleep apnea. Like sometimes hard for me to sleep. And I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I get a message on my phone, and this guy's like, "Hey, like there's an international show in China. Like you should come do it. Like we've been seeing your stuff." And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like I didn't even think anything of it. I'm like, nothing, like this isn't real. Like just some kind of
bullshit. Yeah.
So like I'm going back to my regular training or whatever. And like a week later, I get another message, and the guy's like sent me. He's like, yeah, like I'm serious. Like this is legit. Like it's a real deal. So I got invited to go compete in Shanghai, China.
I saw
at an OSG qualifier, which was super cool. Definitely really, really weird how that whole situation got brought upon, but I am very fortunate that I have a family and friends and sponsors and a gym behind me that saw the potential in me going there to do that.
Yeah.
So I definitely I trained really, really hard. I walk around at about 260 pounds. And I decided I was going to compete as a 105.
Yeah.
And that was my first ever 105 show. And so in 3 months, I went from 258 to I weighed in at 228 pounds.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was rough. Like that water cutting. Like
how much did you have to water cut? Awful. Oh, it's fucking terrible.
I think the week of I was still like 8 pounds over.
Oh, okay.
But I had a 13-hour time difference going there in the opposite direction. Plus like 24 hours of travel, dude. Like my ankles were swollen as fuck. Like I was holding on to so much water. Like I wasn't sleeping. I felt like shit. And like thankfully I went I think 4 days before the competition.
Nice.
And I was able to kind of acclimate a little bit there. My refeed went good. My hydration went well. There was, I think, 13 guys in my weight class to start with. And I knew going into it that there was 2 guys from the Czech Republic that were really good. I didn't know who they were until I got there, and I realized that the one guy in my weight class, his name is Yuri. He's like a 3-time World Ultimate Strongman champion. He won Europe's Strongest Man, U105. And I was like, I got these guys that are world-class strongmen. And I'm a nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I was like, nobody knows who I am. Like these are, if I want to make a name, like I got to stick with these guys.
Yep.
And I did really well. I stuck with them the whole time. I mean, towards the end, they kind of pulled away a little bit. But I had somebody to kind of gauge myself off of to see just how good I needed to be and where I was at.
Yep.
And I ended up getting 3rd place.
Sick.
So I made the podium in my first ever international show, which was awesome. I cried because I was pumped.
Dude,
like,
I bet, bro.
Yeah.
Like hormones, travel, being
I was just getting ready
tired.
to say the whole journey of it all. It's like, fuck, this is a lot right now.
Yeah.
And then to actually get what you came for, it's just like all that like stress and just everything coming off of you. So that's good, dude.
Yeah, and like the cool part about that was Martins Lises was
that in your
actually
video.
one of the head referees. And the year before that, I was his athlete coordinator at World's Strongest Man.
How funny.
So when he got there, I went up to him and I'm like, dude, it's a long shot that you even remember who I am. And he's like, no, like you're Gavin, like you're my athlete coordinator. I'm like, oh man,
No shit.
Like,
That's
this is even better.
sick. That's pretty
So
sick.
yeah. So like at the end, like when he handed me my trophy, it was just like full circle, like living a dream. Yeah, like it was so cool, and my family was, I'm very thankful to have a family as supportive and understanding of the things that I do, because like strongman is not an easy thing.
No,
like there's things that we do that the normal person would be like, what's wrong with you? Like why would you do that?
Absolutely.
Or what's going through your head?
That's fucking everything other than deadlift.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And my mom and dad, like I remember telling them before I started like really getting into strongman and doing everything, I'm like, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is, what it's going to take to be at the top. And they're like, we support you. Like we will do everything that we can. And they 100% have been behind me all the way. So
that's sick.
Without my mom and dad, like I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And doing what I'm doing. So
no, that's good, dude.
Yeah, and like making the podium, I knew that in order to get the invite out of China to go to OSG that I needed to win. But making the podium was like satisfactory. Like I was so satisfied. I knew that I was capable of competing with some of the top guys. And I didn't even think anything of it. And the guy that got 1st and 2nd place, at the end of the show, they came up and talked to me and they're like, hey, you're a great athlete. Like it was really nice competing with you. And they're like, but we can't go to OSG this year.
Oh,
so we're going to talk to the promoter and see if we can like defer the invite to you.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, like, that would be super cool. But I don't know how the logistics work of that. Like promoters, like it's a whole different thing. So, the promoter of that show reached out to Lynn. I reached out to Lynn and I just, I introduced myself and I'm like, this is the situation. Like, this is what's going on. And he responded like super quick, like within an hour. And he's like, hey, like I need to talk to Travis. He was the promoter of China's Strongest. So it was like a week and I hadn't heard anything back. And I'm like, I don't want to send him a message. Like, I don't want to annoy him.
Yeah.
But I ended up sending him another message and I'm like, hey, like, I'm just checking in, because it was only like 6 weeks away from OSG from the time I got home.
Well, right. You got to get shit going. You got to get flights. You got to start training.
Yeah. I'm like, I need to know if I need to stay 231 pounds. I need to know what I need to do with my coach. Like, I need to know all this stuff. And he sent me a message back and he's like, hey, we're still trying to figure it out. I went through your Instagram. He's like, some of your lifts, like you could compete. Some of your lifts like aren't that great. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I'm like, I get it. You know, it is what it is. Like, it's that's like the top of the top.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
I
it
get
sting
it.
a little bit? Yeah, it stung.
For
I'm like,
sure.
damn. Like, it's fucking, he's like, dude, you're not strong.
Sometimes,
I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh,
sometimes maybe
yeah.
good, sometimes maybe shit.
Holy shit,
yeah. And I'm
bro.
like, yeah, sometimes maybe shit. All right, like, that's what it is. And I'm like, all right, like, I'm hoping, but like after he said that, I'm like, probably not.
Right,
And you know, it is
right.
what it is. Like, there'll be more opportunities.
Yeah.
And I got a text message the day after from the promoter, not from Lynn, and he's like, hey, like, are you sure you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, 100%. Like, if I have an opportunity to go to 105 Worlds, like, yes, I want to go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but Lynn, like, he said he doesn't really know. And he's like, no, I already talked to Lynn. He's like, Lynn's waiting for me to send him the confirmation that you're going to go. And I'm like,
oh,
for
shit.
real? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you dead serious? And he's like, yeah. He's like, do you want to go 100%? I'm like, yeah. Like, fucking tell him, I want to go. I want to start training now. So yeah, and that was 2 days later. I got the invite in my email, and I'm like, let's go, dude. Like, this is real.
That's wow. That's quite the story.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it was like 2 weeks. My emotions were like super high, super low. Like, man, I love strongman. I'm like, man, I hate myself. Like, I can't deadlift 800 pounds.
Right.
Yeah. So it was like a roller coaster on top of getting back from competing.
I was just getting ready to
I'm
say,
prep.
yeah. You just went through one big emotional thing, and then you feel satisfaction, but then you're holding on, and then you get dissed. What the fuck?
So, with China's Strongest Man, did that end up? It was only first and second place that got qualified for Worlds.
So it was only first place that got an invite, but they both train in the same gym. They're 1 and 2, and he's like, if I can't go, the other guy's his name is Vojta. He's like, if Yuri can't go, then it would go to Vojta, but he couldn't go either.
Right.
So they both came up to me and they're like, neither of us can go.
Fuck.
So
damn, that's a high stakes comp. First place only. That's a high stakes. Like,
especially in the 105.
Like in a 105, traveling halfway around the world. So like, I respect you for like going for that. Like, you know what I mean? It's different when it's like at least top 3 and you're like, well, I could fucking shake it. And if you got 3 spots, not like,
which I thought that was how all OSG
I did too.
were.
I did too. Cause in Texas, I took mine, and it was the top 3. So when you like, I literally, when you were explaining it, and you said like, "Oh, I got the podium," I was really expecting the story just to kind of like fade off for there, and then you just hit all. I was like, "Wait, what?" So,
yeah, like there was so much
holy shit
roller coaster emotions there. Like it was because I didn't know that it was only the top 1 until we got there.
Fuckers.
And then they're like, only the winner gets the invite, and I'm like, oh shit,
dude,
like,
that's a totally different story. Like winning a comp and podium is like there's a difference. There's a difference.
Yeah, especially like
top tier fucking thing. Holy shit, man.
That's wild.
Fuck.
It was pretty awesome, though. I mean,
that's cool,
I made some really great connections there. Like a lot of great people. Like strongman in China is just starting.
Okay.
It's a newer concept, but like the people, everybody, like they were so receptive. It was kind of funny. Like I got done with the competition and we were getting ready to get on our flight, and I was wearing one of my competition shirts because I mean, I don't know, they gave us a bunch of them. So I was wearing one, and these 2 little like Chinese ladies came out of this store. They're like, "Oh my God, did you compete there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, and they're like, "Oh, can we take a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can." Like,
I've heard that strongmen in Asian communities are like a god to those people.
Dude.
Like I had even other competitors were like, "Can we take a picture with you? Like when we're done, like, can we get pictures together? Like, will you sign this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, of course. Absolutely."
Were you the only American there?
No. So there was actually a handful of Americans. Like there was a guy that's from Ohio. I mean, he lives in China now, but he's from Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And there was a guy from Michigan, but like the only guy that traveled from the United States. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a whole different vibe. Fuck, being out in China. How was that like? So when you needed to sauna and like water cut, like I've never been out there. Is it as accessible, as easy as like here in the States, or is it more of a pain in the ass? Like Run us through that.
I was very fortunate that I did not need a sauna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I was low enough getting there that I only had 2 kilos to lose in 5 days by the time I got to the hotel.
Facts. Okay.
But I know like some of the other competitors, because like we all had a group chat, so like it made it a lot easier because we all knew who each other were before we even got there.
Sick.
And there was only one hotel out of all the hotels that were booked or listed for us that had a sauna. So like everybody went to that hotel.
Okay.
But yeah, in terms of like they kind of have like a DoorDash app that we do, but literally like it has food delivery, it has currency exchange, it has a language translator. Damn. It's like without that, I would have.
I was getting ready to say that's what I was getting ready to say now. Like, how did you get through the language barrier and all that? Yeah. Like, fuck.
And even then, like it was really hard.
I can imagine.
This podcast is sponsored by Cerberus Strength USA. Make sure that you guys go to cerberus-strength.us for all of your Cerberus needs.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the absolute best. They're coming up in the game. They're owning the game. Cerberus Strength is the best quality product you can possibly wear.
I mean, I tell you what, whenever I think of strongman or powerlifting nowadays, I think of Cerberus.
Dude, I think about Cerberus every day.
I mean, because I wear Cerberus every day.
It looks super sick.
It does. Make sure that if you guys want any of the gear, the equipment, accessories, apparels, they're even coming out with supplements now.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you guys go check out Cerberus Strength.
For real. They're literally one of the best in the business. Probably the best in the business. They're sponsoring everybody from strongman athletes to all the strength sport athletes out there, taking over the game. And you just know you're in safe and good hands when you rock Cerberus Strength.
And make sure that you use our code B4WAR at checkout to save you 10% at checkout.
Absolutely. And their packages always arrive, no problems, shipping, everything. So B4WAR, get you 10% off.
And thank you to Cerberus for sponsoring this podcast.
Absolutely. We love you.
We love you. This podcast is sponsored by Premier TRT and Med Spa. Make sure you guys go over to www.premiertrt.com to get all of your testosterone, hormone, and peptide needs.
Absolutely. And just overall general health. I mean, you guys want to be checked out by the best in the business and people that actually care about you and your well-being and your overall health, whether it's strides and strength, admirations, or just a healthy living style. You guys cannot beat Premier TRT and Med Spa. Great family-owned style business, and you're just one of the family. And as always, get yourself checked.
Either that or go check them out at 12774 Colorado Boulevard, Suite 141 in Thornton, Colorado. Yeah. Go over there and tell Melanie we said that we sent you, Tell them that Built for War sent us.
That's right. You were hanging out with us last night, chilling, and you needed to come get checked. So, bam, there you are.
Yeah. For a low price, they'll check you out. They'll get you what you need and get you out the door so you can be back to living a healthy, lovely lifestyle like everybody else.
That's the American dream.
That's the American dream.
It really is. But no, for real, guys, always we say keep an eye on your health, and there's nobody better.
Yeah.
Premier. And, family, and just, man, you just become one of the family, okay?
You're part of the familia now.
For real. You're under my protection, okay?
Well, thank you for sponsoring us, Premier TRT, and thank you to you.
Always.
We'll see you guys.
Yeah, like it was definitely a culture shock because like I've been in Europe before, like I lived there for a period of time.
Oh shit! Okay.
But going to an Asian country where you literally like, there's no way you can understand anything.
Yeah,
like, you can't even look at a road sign. And you're like, oh, that's what
exactly.
That says.
You have no fucking
like
idea where you are. No. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's the most polar opposite of worlds because not only is a language different, but the symbols are different. The sides on the road are like everything is completely backwards.
You're just like a baby in Walmart. Like where the fuck? Like where the fuck do I go? Like I haven't taken that level. You know what I mean? We've traveled around the states. I haven't done any internationals to like deal with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And fuck. That's respect. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if I'd go to China. I don't know if I would. So that's super sick that you did. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, a lot of people said the same thing. They're like, dude, you're stupid for going. And I'm like, Yeah, kind of like.
Oh no, it's not stupid.
I mean,
It's just, I mean, that's an event. It's just a fucking adventure.
Yeah.
Like that's a,
Yeah.
you know. So, but hey, you got a fucking sick story out of it. So at least it was a wild
yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
fuck it. And then so after all of that, how was OSG? Because we got to see each other and everything else, but like, you know what I mean. You're fucking concentrating on yourself. How was it?
It was humbling.
Facts.
Humbling. That's a very good word to describe it. I think, you and I had kind of talked about it, you know, literally in a 10-month period.
Yeah.
You and I went from competing. You and I went from competing in an open pro show to being at the world's level in our weight classes.
Yeah,
so like that was something that kind of, it stuck with me. Cause I'm like, you know, if you and I can show up to some pro show and beat these guys, and then we can go here. Like that just shows like anybody can do anything.
Absolutely.
Because like, the 105, well, the U90 class too. Like both of those classes are just absolutely loaded freaks.
Dude,
like
freaks.
Freak athletes.
Fucking freak dudes.
Yeah.
So you like, you know, I'm warming up, like I'm meeting people, like I'm seeing all these guys that I see on Instagram in person, and I'm like, oh, dude, like this dude's actually fucking real. Like you're not just a picture on Instagram, like you're not just a video.
Yeah.
So like seeing some of those guys in person, I wasn't intimidated per se, but I think it's one of those things where you're like, holy shit, like this is a real person. Like I have to compete with you.
I was getting ready to ask you. I was getting ready to ask you because I remember my very first pro show. It was a pro show, and it was against competitors that like you've seen on TV or you follow. Right? It was my very first Clash on the Rockies show, and that very first year. And I was going to ask you because. And it happens. I've heard these stories from Graham Hicks, Terry Hollins, all kinds of guys that like when they first get into that league of like competing against people they've looked up to, and all of a sudden now they're competitors. Is like, how was your first show? Me, when I went to the Clash, I was trained and pretty ready. I mean, not to like podium, but to do way better. But I was so like. Not intimidated, but glammed of just like, wow, we're here. Like you just want to like hang out and just like you're so happy that you're there, but you're not ready to compete. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're just like, I just want to hang out back here. Like, you know what I mean? Hey man, I know you. So that kind of vibe instead of that like killer instinct of like on comp day, how it should be. It's like, I don't give a fuck who you are, dude. Like, cool. We'll talk later, but like, I got shit to do. You know what I mean? Where now I feel like that has happened, but I was curious how that went for you.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good way to describe it. I mean, like smaller pro shows, like local shows, you know, stuff like that. I mean, we know everybody.
Exactly.
I mean, like on friendship level.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's more laid back, it's chill and stuff like that. And then getting there, I don't really think it's set in at first until I wouldn't even say till after weigh-ins, like the day of, like the day, like I'm out there like getting warmed up and shit, and I'm looking at everybody, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking real.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm not just here. Like, like it has a competition feel, but it's different.
It's totally different.
Because like you're looking at everybody and you're seeing these guys warm up, and like you said, you see them on social media, and like you're seeing it in person, and it's just like, dude, what are you? Like, how are you even, like, how are you a person?
Yeah.
And I wasn't intimidated, but I don't think that I went there in the right mindset to compete with some of those guys. Cause I've never been there before.
Yeah, absolutely.
You haven't been there before.
Been there before.
No,
that was my first year. Yeah. First year.
Yeah. So like, I feel like when you get there and you finally like immerse yourself in it, then it becomes real.
Exactly.
It's not everything leading up to it because you're like, oh, I'm prepping for a show. Oh, I'm weighing in for a show.
Yep.
And then once it's time to go, you're like, holy fucking shit. Like, it's time to go.
You're like, I have to be down on that platform with those cameras on me here in a fucking like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Like they had us in the tunnel and like we're getting ready to go out. And like the groups are going before me. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking real. Like I'm actually about to do this. Like this isn't just Yeah. So yeah, I definitely like a similar mindset. I think I was ready, but I wasn't OSG ready.
Yeah, right. Compared to some of the other guys, like this is just to them. This is another local show. Like Nikolai Myers in my class. Like you're saying,
I mean,
everybody
guys
else
like Nicholas Canby and everything.
They all find their little spots. Like you know what I mean. All the big guys. Yep. Like they've done this a million times. It's another fucking. It's it's just another day at the office for them. You know what I mean. So and we'll be there.
Yes.
Even this year, next year.
And like you're walking around meeting guys in your weight, like some of the other like newer guys, like fresher guys, you're like, oh, this is my first time too. So like you're making friends
for sure.
And then you see those guys that have been there 2, 3, 4 times, and they're just like standing there with a fucking angry look on their face, like not talking to anybody, and you're like, that guy knows what he's doing. Like, that guy knows
for sure.
And I think a lot of, I mean, it is like it's a celebrity kind of thing, you kind of get lost in the competition. You get lost in the atmosphere because you're like, oh, like I want to make friends. Like I want to do all this. Like people are taking pictures. Like they got the cameras. Like they're saying your name. Like you're waving to the camera, smiling at the crowd and everything. Yeah. And I think you kind of lose, at least for me, I lost the sense of this is a world championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like thinking about it now, and I'm sure like thinking about it, if we go back this year, next year, or whatever, like it'll be a little bit different because you get your feet wet, you show up, you're through it.
Yep.
But I think a lot of the first time guys have that same experience.
Absolutely. And there's so many of them. I mean, there's so many guys, even Flash Dan and stuff like that in the 80s, who World's Strongest Man 80s last year. He was talking about his first year, he went from 28th to first because he had to go that first year, and he said the same exact thing. He's like, first year it's fucking crazy, and like you're just trying to get your thing, and then by the time you come in the next time, it's just gear switch, like just you're there to compete. You know what I mean? So so I'm excited to go back the second year and see the difference. You know
absolutely.
What I mean? So because it is as much as, and I just feel like mine's a little age because you're what, 24?
24.
Yeah, so I'm 12 years older than you. So, and that's just kind of my oldness, and because I have done a few different shows, like I did the Clash a couple years in a row, and like went against Andrew Clayton and all these different fucking dudes, and like so that did help my mental stability, but it's hard to, and I find, tell me if you agree, is like sometimes you get into that killer instinct too much, and especially OSG is a beautiful example. I like that show because you can flip it and then you can turn it off and enjoy. Because at the same time, at the end of the day, like we're so searching for that fucking goal, and it's like, dude, you're missing the journey, like completely. Like embrace yourself in it, have some fucking fun. Remember the fact that you're joking around and fucking meeting these dudes, and that's just a level of like, I feel like that's what you need to find, is that you can enjoy yourself, and then like soon as that fucking, you hit those salts or whatever, it's blind, you're gone, and then you come back. And and I've been trying to find that balance. And this year there were some times of it, and then other times I get lost in it. And it's like, oh fuck, we have to go do shit. You know what I mean? It's like fuck. Yeah. So I think it's just over time.
And I 100% agree with that. I think seeing those, the guys that are always in the top, the guys that make the top 10, like seeing how those guys respond and react and how they act before the show, during the show, at the end of the show, like that's the difference. Obviously, like there's a reason.
For sure.
So I think for you and I both, like when we get back, it'll definitely be a more pleasant competitive or competitor experience versus like a fangirl experience.
I was just going to say
that's the best way to put it.
That was the same word I was going to use.
Yeah.
So
is
that?
I mean,
oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, dude.
I was going to say. So, is that your goal? Are you gonna? What's your 2024 goals? What's Gavin Bell's? Because you just came off a win. You just came off a win. New York's, right?
Yeah. Yep. I went and did Central New York Strongest. It was a smaller USS show. I like to travel to compete.
That was going to be my next comment. Is that
so? USS Nationals 2024 here in Denver. You're coming, I would assume.
I'm not,
bro.
No, I'm not. Yeah, funny thing, making connections. When I was in New York, there was a guy in the 220 class, and he was kind of like standing off by himself. And I'm like, hey, dude, like my name's Gavin. Like I came out from Iowa. He's from Canada. Okay. He's from Montreal, the only Canadian guy there. Super thick French accent. And like we hung out together the whole time. Super cool dude, super nice. And we get done with the show and he's like, You're a pretty good competitor, aren't you? And I'm like, well, yeah, like I like what I do. Like I take it really seriously. And like I told him, like, I was at OSG last year and he's like, you should come to Canada. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. And he's like, no, come compete in Canada. And I was like, all right, like, yeah, let me know sometime.
You're right.
I get home that Monday and he's like, hey, I talked to the promoters for this show. He's like, they want you to come and compete in June. And I'm like, like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, like they already said it's okay. Like you can come out and compete with us. It's a bigger show. It's in Montreal.
Sick.
He's like, so you should come out. And it's June 8th. So right around the same time.
Same day.
It is the same exact day.
Yeah.
Bro, we'll be competing on other sides of the
so,
world. We can look up at the stars together.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder if Mike's looking at the same stars as me tonight.
I do that every time.
I just did that last weekend with my coach. My coach is Bobby Thompson, and we were competing on the same day. So I texted him and was like, hey, do you think that if both of our powers combine, we'll be even stronger together? And he's like, I don't think that's how it works, but let's hope on that. So.
I think so. That's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you do some traveling for some shows, which is sick. Like, I mean, I think that's the best way to form yourself mentally and adapt and endure in a situation, because that's strongman.
Well, you're not only competing in all of these different events, but you're competing against way random people in different environments, places that you don't know. So it kind of enhances you to be ready for the next stage, basically. So like that way, where you go to OSG this year in Madison, it's not going to be anything that's repetitive to you. So you're already going to be like ready to go.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, dude.
No, I was just going to say, like, I was just having this conversation. I can't remember if it was with my dad or if it was with one of my gym buddies or whatever, but they asked me, they're like, why do you travel to compete? And I'm like, well, for USS and Strongman Corp, like a lot of the shows, it's the same guys. Mm-hmm. So like you always run into the same guys within like a 3-hour radius. Like it's the same guys. It's not the same events, but you're competing against the same guys. And I'm like, the difference between you staying and competing at XYZ shows and me going to ABC shows is I'm competing with guys that I've never met before. I'm competing with guys have known nothing about. I'm competing in a place I've never been, in a different time zone, a different elevation. I just traveled for 6 hours to get here. My hips are fucked. I'm tired. I'm on 6 hours of sleep. So you're fighting all those different things, all those different factors on top of the competition itself, which, like you said, it makes you 10 million times stronger. It makes you 10 million times better. Because like you went to bed, you got 8 hours of sleep, you woke up and drove 30 minutes to get to your show. I traveled for 6 hours the night before, got into my hotel at midnight, woke up, weighed in at 7 o'clock, started competing at 9.
Right.
It's like there's 10 different factors for me to compete versus your 2 factors.
Yeah.
And like that's just how I think about it. I don't know if that's crazy.
I think that's 100% facts. I 100% agree with all of that.
Well, and I think it also plays into since you don't know these other guys that you're competing against, you don't know when to take your foot off of the gas, because you don't know like, oh, this guy he's going to be strong in deadlift, but his overhead sucks. I can bring the pedal down a little bit on deadlift. I got to go hard. Like you're just like constantly full throttle the entire time, because you don't know who can do what there.
Yeah. Right.
Where when where like when you compete at a local show, you know those guys, you've been around those guys, most of those guys even go to your gym, and it's like, okay, I already know where I'm going to place in this competition long before I even compete.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And like even some of the guys, like the gym owners up here, like they're like, how come you didn't do Bricktown this year? And it's like, well, one, because I needed a break after OSG, because my body, everything was shot. Like going, like doing those big shows like that, everything that we're eating and putting in our bodies and stuff like that, like it's hard. It's hard on your body. It's hard on your joints. It's hard on your mental health. Like you need a break sometimes.
Facts.
And, and I told them that, and they understand. And, it is, I don't necessarily, it's not like you feel bad for not doing your local shows. And it's not like you feel bad for not supporting them, because you still support them at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But there's a difference between being like a local competitor and being somebody that's trying to do something.
It's very true.
That makes sense.
No,
like,
it 100% agree.
Yeah. And like, it's a shitty way to explain it to people, because, a lot of the guys that you compete against with, like, they're great dudes. Like, they're fun to compete against. Like, but there's a difference between me. I do strongman because it's fun. Yeah. But there's a difference between doing it for fun and doing it because you're trying to fucking win.
Yes.
And that's kind of the mindset that I have, is like, it's great to do these shows with my friends. It's great to do these shows with guys that, I know everything about, but you can only compete against your friends, and you can only compete against these people so many times before you want more, before you need more.
Absolutely.
And that's why, like, you coming out to Bricktown, like, for you, that was probably a fucking, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Or you doing Clash in the Rockies, like, going against those big guys and, like, traveling and competing with the big boys and stuff like that. Like, it's different.
It's very different. And it does. And it shapes your mindset as an athlete. And you're exactly right. You have to have a perspective, and like it goes to like a bigger goal, because, like when we do these big shows, like, it's like you have to have your year planned out. And then, because it is the local thing, people kind of expect you to, in your community, no different than us. Like, there's, because we know all the promoters everywhere. So if they put out a show and we don't show up and like compete in it, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, well, sorry, dog. I hear in like 3 weeks I got a fucking OSG, or I got this. I can't compete in your show. I'm here. I'm supporting. You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? And exactly, I feel what you're saying. Like, it's not like I'm trying to say I'm too good for this. It's just like I got bigger goals right now. You know what I mean? I'm going after that while I got the time to do so. So.
There's the friendship, the supporting mindset, like the community mindset versus like the champion mindset. Like, that's the easiest way to explain it.
I mean, like, and it's just, and some people aren't willing to take that. It's because they are risks, right? They're leaps of faith. Like, I'm spending my hard-earned money. I don't get paid for this. I fucking have to work. This comes out of my pocket on a, hoping on a dream. And I'm going to fucking take work off. I'm going to travel. I'm going to go, I'll do this. I can get my ass kicked, and I'm not going to make no money, but it's going to further me to somewhere else. Yeah. Where other people might look at it as like, well, that doesn't really make sense. You're wasting money and like this, and this. Because you're on a longer vision, a bigger goal. Where they're just kind of like right now.
Well, and I feel like a lot of the people that complain about like, strongman costs a lot of money are the same people that do it for fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
There is a difference between the people that do it for fun and the people like us that are doing it for a goal, right? To walk the world as the strongest in our weight class. Or even more than that, just becoming the absolute best version of ourselves in the sport of strongman. Yeah. And I think that, it catches a lot of flack from the people that are like training maybe 2-3 times a week and compete in the strongman for like the community aspect, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there is a lot of people that would, see it, what you do when you travel the world basically and compete in strongman and go, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because like there's always people that are like, wow, you like, for me to go to OSG, they're like, oh my God, you spent $1,800 on flights in your hotel just to go down and do a competition. It's like, yeah, I fucking did. Like, they're like, well, where'd you get that money? It's like, I worked 60 hours for 4 weeks so I could have extra money, so I can do that. It's like, some people might think it's stupid, but it's no different than you going out and fucking spending $500 at the casino. It's no different than.
And that's what I was going to say. The same people that say, oh, where'd you get that money? It's like, well, I'm not going out and going to the bars every fucking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. Like, I'm at home waiting and then going and training and then working, and then that's it. Like, that's literally what the life revolves around for all of the prep, all of the basically 365 days a year.
Literally.
Yeah. And like, especially, we don't necessarily, it's not like we live in the middle of nowhere. Well, I mean, Dubuque, Iowa was kind of in the middle of fucking nowhere, but I mean, for us to go to those big shows and for us to do those big shows, like, it costs money.
Fuck yeah.
And like, I could definitely spend $50 or $100 and go do a show an hour from here, but I could also spend $300 and go do this show,
Exactly.
plus have the chance to win money, get an invite to go to a show that the top guys in the world do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can go and make connections. Like, that's a big thing about strongman is you meet so many amazing people.
It literally.
And I think, yeah, like I think people take that for granted on its own. Like,
Yeah.
if I wouldn't have met you, like we wouldn't be here. If you
No.
wouldn't have came all the way out to
No.
Dubuque, Iowa to do a pro show as a fucking 220-pound guy doing an open pro show, like we wouldn't be here.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. And people, they get lost on that vision of it. And it's just like, you got to take some losses to actually progress. And like, instead of you're pleasurable now, you spent $500 on alcohol and drinks and some dress or something that means nothing now, but like, you know what I mean? So,
exactly.
And so I think that's crazy. So it's like, whatever, fuck it. That's super cool, dude.
I definitely,
I like that.
So questions that we always ask our other guests that we have on the show. We want to hear what your favorite and least favorite strongman lift is.
Oh man,
I love watching everybody's faces after we ask these questions. I just wait for the faces reaction.
If you want to go off principle, I absolutely love Atlas stones. I don't care if it's a stone to shoulder. I don't care if it's a load. I don't care if it's for reps. Like, I love stones.
Agreed.
Haven't always been good at them. I prefer to do them with tacky.
Yes,
but definitely just like there's nothing cooler than saying you can pick up a fucking 350-pound rock.
Stacks.
Like, that's just cool.
It's true. I mean, and when you look at it and see that, like,
exactly. People are like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Least favorite? I mean, if you really want to strike a nerve with me, you could say circus dumbbells my least favorite, but so the people that don't know,
I know.
Well, where
I
that
know what
comes
you're talking
from,
about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't get a down call at OSG this year.
That was a rob. I don't give a fuck. I'll say it. That was a bad call. That was fucking shit call.
And I shit you not, dude. I probably got 150 messages on my Instagram from the time that event took place till the time I got my phone. And people were like, dude, what the fuck?
Bullshit. Yeah.
So, I mean, right now that's been my least favorite just because that one definitely like has stung. And I think about it every single day. I'm not kidding. It's my background on my phone. I look at it every single day. I'm like, man.
I love that fucking mentality.
Like, dude, and I'm like, could things have been different? 100%. Would it really have made a difference in the terms of overall standings? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
We don't know.
And there's no reason for me to sit here every single day and be like, man, like, that was bullshit. Like, yeah, but at the same time, there probably was something I could have done better.
Well, that's exactly,
Yeah. So, I mean, since December, circus dumbbell's been my least favorite event.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be my least favorite until I have the chance to redeem myself.
That's the real reason he's not coming to Nationals 2024.
Because it's a dumbbell for reps.
Oh yeah. You guys got the round ones too, like
the big Slaters,
the
big Slaters,
the globe ones. Yeah, like those ones are ugly. I hate those things.
Yeah,
those are just.
Him and I just did one last year in August for a local show called Sunday Paper, and I forgot how bad those globe dumbbells suck comparatively to like something like a Slater or a loadable.
Yeah. It's definitely different.
You just can't stick them anywhere.
No.
And they just roll.
Like there's no comfortable rack. No.
Yeah, they're fucking dumb. But this is why we do it, I guess.
That's strong, man. Yeah, that's strong, man. Like embrace the suck.
Yeah.
That's really all it comes down to. It's like every event is going to suck in its own way. So enjoy.
So after you get done with Canada, so that's super dope. We'll have to have you on afterwards because Nationals will be wrapped up because we're gonna do it on the same day.
Yep.
And then see how that Canada. Are you gonna go out for OSG again this year?
I am gonna do everything that I possibly can to get back.
Okay.
I actually have a qualifier show lined up, not in the United States.
Again.
It's in Finland. So I'm going to Finland.
That's fucking dope, though.
If that doesn't go I'm hoping it does, then I probably will do one of the ones here in the United States, one of the qualifiers.
Yeah. Come do Texas.
That doesn't work out. Obviously, there's the online qualifier.
Yep.
So yeah, after this summer, after those few shows, like my goal is 100% to get back, because Madison's my backyard, baby. Like,
dude, I was gonna say it's
right
in
there.
your house. Like, it's up in your house,
an hour from home. Like,
no.
And my mom and dad, when they announced where it was at, I called my mom and dad, and I'm like, "You'll never guess where OSG is this year." And they're like, "Where?" And I'm like, "It's in fucking Madison."
Yeah.
And they freaked out. Like, my mom called all of my family and was like, "Oh, Worlds is gonna be in Madison this year." I'm like, "Mom, I don't even fucking have an invite yet. Like, chill out." Like,
all these people showing up and shit.
Now I have to perform.
Yeah. Now you're backed into a corner. So if you don't make it there,
like, oh man, dude, I'm gonna be fucking clawing my way out of this one.
You'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I definitely like OSG. You can't go 1 year and not want to go back.
So true.
So especially after like what we were just talking about, there's a different mentality this year.
Yep.
Definitely, like, that's what I want. I want that more than anything, is to get back.
Okay.
I think out of anything that I have on my bucket list this year, like, that's it. That's the one thing that I want.
For sure.
I don't care about like new 1 rep maxes. Like, I don't care about winning XYZ shows. Like, I want to get back to it. And I think that should be everybody's goal.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you know, that the competitive mindset that you and I had talked about, you know, that's where my heart is right now.
For sure. Dude, that's awesome. I mean, that's a couple short years of where you are. See, I love stuff like that because, I mean, everything that you're saying is a prime example of just like taking those risks and constantly do it. And I mean, and it's one of those things I try to tell people in life, like, is like, and you're a prime example. You took a risk, like before you had something that was close in your life, but it wasn't a set goal. Like, you went to the gym, like most of us, just bros, like we enjoyed lifting, but taking it serious is nothing. You took a risk and you did a strongman comp. And then it's like, those are those times that, cause I did the same thing. I did one strongman comp and it was just like, it's those perfect alignments. I feel like if like you step right into your path, it's going to be a hard motherfucking road. And like most people give up on that, but it's like, it brings you peace and it just like, it's just clicking. It falls into place so fast. Right. You know what I mean? And, so dude, I love that. Fucking, you're young and you got the time, travel, fucking go all out and do all that shit. And, and then, yeah, everything is in proximity of meeting these people and getting in line and getting you here because you're willing to take that risk and go fucking up there. You know what I mean? So that's respect, my friend. So that's sick as fuck. So I'm excited to see how Canada's go and come do Texas. We're gonna do the OSG Texas again.
You're gonna do, I think there's one in St. Louis,
or whatever's closer.
Dude, I don't know.
Whatever's closest, I guess, to you. Yeah.
So
Texas is close for us.
Yeah. How are you feeling? Like, how are things going for you? I saw your show last weekend. Like, I'm sure you're kind of pissed on your deadlift, but
that's what I mean. Just like you're judging with the dumbbell. That shit happens, right? I mean, you get super pissed. Everybody tells you, they're like, yeah, they fucked you over. You watch the video and you're like, like, whatever. That's a good rep. What are you talking about?
I watched your video and I'm like,
even the guy gives me the down signal. It's like, oh my god,
what the fuck am I waiting for?
Yeah. So, I mean, it is, but again, it's something I did wrong, so I have to fix it. So it is what it is. Yep. No, it was good, dude. It was one of those things of, I was expecting the day to go pretty, like, good. Like, when the deadlift, of course, you never underestimate your competitor.
You don't want to say easy.
Not easy, but like, it should have been, I shouldn't have had to flip the switch I flipped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be like that. And, but hey, fucking, I guess don't pray for strength if you ain't going to be prepared for battles to face. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. And it's like, shit happens that now you got to adapt in dirt. And like, I feel like I got stronger from it. I'm actually really happy with it. It sucked in one way, but at the other time, on a mental note, it was like, ooh, I really like the way that came. Like, we fought back. We didn't like fuck around. Like, you know what I mean? Made shit tons of mistakes, but we just battled all day. And it was like, I'm sure that'll play out in the end for the good. You know what I mean?
Forces that lock in.
Exactly. So I mean, it was good, dude. It was fun. I haven't competed since Worlds, so it was good to jump into another show and kind of get that game, that mind. And then we got what we needed, which was the Nationals ticket, because I'm going to do June 8th right here in Denver. We're going to be in the 220 class, so hopefully get that. As
you're both 220s?
Okay, so normally I'm not.
He's not. He has to cut.
Yeah. Normally,
Yeah.
normally my body tends to sit around the 230, so I'm technically a 105.
Yeah.
But my coach and I have been working on all of this shit. Because I did the 220 class, but I did the pro class.
You did the
last
pro
week.
220. Yeah, same comp. Because this one they had the 220 pro, the USS 220 pro, and then the 220 class. And he was in it, and there was a stacked lineup in that 220 pro. And normally I would do that show, but I was like, no, I want my ticket. I don't feel like fucking. That's a whole nother show I have. Yeah. And then, I didn't want to fight that hard, even though I ended up fighting that hard.
You got to get back in the rhythm. You got to get back in it.
Yeah. So, he did that class, and
like I'm normally a 105, so that's what I'll do down there in Texas is the 105.
Yeah.
But we've just been working on a lot of conditioning and shit because I do other competitions like archery competitions and shit. So I got to hike up and down a fucking mountain, and those competitions are coming up. So I was like, this is gonna be a good time to just stay around 220. Like my fucking cut, my cut this last time was a whole whopping 4 pounds, and I made weight by noon the day before, so I literally I sipped on water and fucking ate strawberries all day. I was like, this is perfect. So but after nationals, since it's here in Denver, I was like, I've got to do fucking nationals since it's in Denver. It makes the most sense for us being in Colorado. After that, I'm gonna put on probably a good 40, maybe 50 pounds, depending on what we can do.
Man, it'll be a big one. Holy shit.
I know, huh?
Yeah, Bobby wants my coach really wants me to get some size on me. He's like, with your frame, with you being 6'1", he was like, it doesn't make sense for you to be this small. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So
you're the same. Yeah, we're about the same height. So,
and what are you? You said you're weighing around like 230 right now.
Right now, well, when I competed, was that 2 weeks ago? I weighed in. I was 253, and then because I wasn't trying to get in, I didn't need to get into any kind of shape. So I'm like, all right, like this is my off season walk around 253.
Okay.
But I weighed myself this morning because I'm trying to get I want to be in a comfortable spot. If I do have to cut, it's not a ton. And I was 244. So
that's not
245-ish.
Yeah. And that's what I've heard from us 105s, like that 245-ish. Like that 10, 15 pound range, you're usually pretty safe. And I think it just has to do with the way your body cuts. You know what I mean? Because like I had to do a water cut the very first time was last year's OSG qualifier. Never done one because I always do the 220 class and I walk around at like anywhere from 205 to 212. You know what I mean? The heaviest I've ever been is 220, and that was for a short period of time. And that was the first one I had to. And of course, it was right when I was fucking 220. Yep. I was in Mexico and I could not lose a pound. And then so I had to do almost a 20 pound water cut. Fucking almost killed me. And literally, dude, I looked like I was going to die. And but then by Worlds, so I tapered it down. I was like, my body does not like that big of a cut.
I don't think anybody's body likes it.
Nobody liked that. So and then when we went to where you are right now, if you guys don't know, he's actually in Charleston right now. He's sitting on the competition floor. And when we went there, I walked in like I was floating at like 207, something like that. So it was like a 6-7 pound water cut. And then even right now with my conditioning, like this last comp, I walked in like clothes and everything else, and I weighed in at 207. So like the morning, I'm usually like 202, 205, which my body feels comfortable, and then that's not shit of a water cut. Yeah, so that's like 5 pounds.
Yeah, that's good.
Just fast, not even sauna. You know what I mean? So
right.
So trying to be healthier because I know some of those dudes though they get fucking big, and then they water cut, and it's like, God, you guys have that shit dialed down to like be able to like.
Well, dude. One of the fucking guys that's in the 105 at OSG, I think he's from Colorado. I think what the fuck's his name? EJ Harrelson, I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Josh. Yeah, he's a big
Yeah, dude,
fucking boy.
276 right now, and I'm like, God damn,
Yeah.
And he's in
dude, like,
shape too. We just competed. He was he was there this weekend.
Yeah,
and
he was at the
Yeah,
he was in the heavyweight
he's
class.
a thick motherfucker. Like he's a
yeah,
big boy.
like I saw him at OSG, and I'm like, oh, dude, like what weight class
Right.
you? And he's like 105, and I'm like,
I
what?
know.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I know. I did that.
That's why I'm trying to get
Yeah.
to that weight, because I'm like, if it works for him, it's gonna work for me. My metabolism is stupid fucking fast. Like I have to eat a fuckload of calories, like dirty calories, to keep weight on.
Dude, calories is king.
Right.
Yeah, calories is king.
So would
in our
you
sport.
like if you do get up to like 275, 280? Are you gonna stay and compete as like an open? Like is that long term goal like open?
I don't know. I've thought about that. I don't know what my body looks like at that level. The last time I was up and around like the 250, 260 area, my body was not happy, but I was also holding a lot of water. I was real thick, and my wife would have to wake me up in the middle of the night because I'd stop breathing. So I was just overly heavy, and I don't think that my body liked the fat percentage. So if I do get all the way back up, I might just start cutting fat and see where my body lands at. But I also, like I said, I don't know what my body's going to do with all of that weight on it. So we'll just have to see.
Right.
I mean, I would love to compete in the open class and be like a solid 300, but it just depends. Like I'm 29, so I've got probably a good solid, obviously 10 years in this before hitting masters. So I mean, we'll just have to see.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like 270, like 6'1", 275, like strongman. That's a normal.
That's pretty
like that's a
average.
normal open heavyweight. Like that's like the healthiest heavyweight
version.
Because once those, like, especially for like, I'm assuming you and I have a similar frame. Like if we were standing next to each other,
you do long arms. Like you guys have a very similar frame.
And I feel like once, because I got up 2 years ago, I got up to 275, dude, and I felt like fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, was it all great weight? No. But I couldn't imagine being like 6'1" and being, someone who's got like 340 pounds.
Dude.
I don't know how that's sustainable. Like, I don't know how these guys aren't falling over dead.
Literally.
Because I couldn't even tie my shoes without fucking busting a nosebleed or something like that. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, there's a guy that goes, his name's Mark Sanchez. He's 6'1".
Dude, he's huge.
He's like, I think he's like into the 320s, 330s.
He was in the open class there at OSG.
At the World.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez. Yeah. Big Samoan looking.
Yeah. He even on Saturday we were talking to him. He's like, I feel like fucking shit. He's like, my fucking conditioning is nowhere where it should be, because he was a
photographer.
Yeah.
So he's running, trying to get all the shots and get low and move.
I was just watching beads of fucking sweat drip down him. He was like, I'm fucking out of breath. This being fucking fat shit ain't cool.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually like I'm like you, dude. I walk around 260, 270, and I was competing at it, and then I don't know. I'm just like I don't think I can compete as open because I can't function at 275, let alone 330.
Right.
Which is why I decided to cut to 105 and try to be competitive here. So I give those open guys credit because. Fuck.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's just, you guys are both still young. It's just like over the years, you pack on 5-6 pounds a year, 4 or 5 pounds, you know what I mean? Before you know it, and you're matured and you're in your mid 30s, that's almost a decade. If you're still healthy and you're still fucking competing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 12 years from right now, you'll be sitting where I am, like in age. Yeah. So it's like, and where you are, like, so that's like, that should give you an insight. Like, you got plenty of time to stack on 5, 6, you know what I mean? And before you know it, you might be a lean, ripped out, your body's used to handling 280, and you can slide into the masters, you know what I mean? Or you might fuck up 105s for years and then be like, oh, I'm good, I can handle this, you know what I mean? So, so it's in time. So,
well, before we wrap it up, we have one last question that we like to ask everybody as well.
Yep.
Do you rather love to win or hate to lose, and why?
I hate losing. I'm not a sore loser, but I hold myself to a very high standard.
Yep.
And it's not that I think I'm better than everybody. I think I should be better than everybody. I feel like
I agree.
It makes sense.
Especially. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it makes sense because when you're competing at this high level, you have to have some type of a fucking ego, right?
You have to.
Like,
Yep.
People always say, oh, you got to stay humble. It's like, yeah, I mean, don't be a fucking cocky dickhead. But at the same time, like, you got to kind of strut your shit a little bit because you're at such a top level. And I get what you're saying. Like, it sucks to lose. I fucking hate losing because you're like, I'm fucking better than what I just did.
Exactly.
Yep. And I mean, yeah, like winning's great. Like you get a fucking trophy, like, oh, I'm going to fucking throw it in a room and I'm never going to look at it again.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you lose, it's fuel in your fucking brain.
Fuck,
so like you have a shitty event, it fucking sticks in your brain. You lose, it sticks in your brain because you're like, how the fuck did this guy beat me? Like I won 3 of 5 events and he still fucking beat me. Like you have one shitty event. Like that's the difference between winning and fucking losing.
Exactly.
You have a bad event, there it goes.
There's gone.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially like in big weight class. Dude. Like you got fucking 10 guys in your class. You fuck up, like, oh, there it goes.
And you fucked up by just like a misplaced step. Like something so fucking
minor. Yeah, you fucking your tack you melted off, so you slipped.
Your hand slipped. Yep.
1 second difference is the difference between winning and losing. Like that's the crazy.
And and you have to have that standard, like to a degree. And it's like that whole old school, like believe it to achieve it. And I do agree with that, but it's no different than what we do. If you walk up to a deadlift bar and you're kind of just like, well, we'll kind of see what happens. You're going to get fucking tooken for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you walk up to a bar or a log or anything else, like you have to believe that motherfucker's going to come off the floor or it's going to go overhead. I don't give a fuck how it struggles. We're doing this. So you have to have that level of self-confidence and agreements. But it's, it's
like that's like, especially at competitions, like you see the guys that are like standing off and just like getting in the zone. And then you see the guys that are just like talking and joking around. Dude, when it's 2 guys out for me or 1 guy out, like don't fucking talk to me, don't look at me, don't get in front of me, like don't.
Yeah, exactly. You got to zone in and get going.
Yep. And it's that same way when I lose. Like, am I a good loser? Yeah, sure. Like I'm a good sport.
Absolutely.
Like I'm a good absolutely awesome. If you beat me, like you're good because like
handshake.
I think I'm good. Like I know I'm like you know how it is. You know you're good. You know you're a good athlete. So when you lose, it's like
fuck.
Motherfucker, like I lost. Like this guy's actually like now I have to watch out for this guy. Now I have to fucking work twice as hard because this guy shouldn't have fucking beat me.
Exactly.
So yeah, I hate losing. I absolutely hate losing.
That.
I love it.
That was just boom, dude. I love that because normally everyone's like, it's just fuck losing.
Winning's great. Like it's cool to have trophies and medals and a certificate or whatever. But dude, like losing fucking lights a fire under my ass, and I don't never have handled losing very well. So.
Well, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to? What's your Instagram handle so that people can follow you, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so my Instagram is it's Bell_strongman 1999. It's kind of funny when we were at OSG this year, I'm getting some fucking food at the concession stand. Mike comes out of nowhere. He's like, "Oh my god, is that Bell Strongman?"
1999? Is that?
We always do that because we always know everybody by their Instagram handle.
Always.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I know that guy. It's fucking Vag Slayer 69. Like I know him, but I can't tell you his fucking name.
Yeah.
Dude, like I told all my friends about that because I thought that was the funniest fucking thing ever. But yeah, no, dude. No, were you gonna say something? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. You'd always just letting you.
No, I'm just gonna shout out to my fucking gym, like the owners, Kenny, Mike, Tim, like you guys are fucking awesome. I appreciate having a community behind me. I really appreciate you guys even asking me to be on.
Good.
I mean,
thanks for being on, bro.
Still new, still young. I mean, I'm glad that our paths cross. So like now we have this connection, and I can push your guys' stuff out there, get you guys more traction, get your podcast, a lot more views, a lot more followers. Because
appreciate it.
I think strongman. It's important to talk about. Like it's important to know everybody. Like get a sense of what everybody thinks, how everybody feels.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people in our sport feel like you can't express sometimes what you think and what you feel. So like hearing other competitors talk about their experiences and the way that they look at things and feel things, like it's good to realize that, you know, a lot of us are the same when it comes to things like that.
I mean, I agree. Everybody feels alone. It's like, no, dude, you're fucking right here at home. Yeah. Like outcast like, circle, come on over.
Yeah. Let's go pick up rocks together.
Exactly, right? That's weird to everybody else, but we're friends. Let's do this. So.
Yeah. But I mean, I definitely I appreciate you asking me to be on. I'm glad we met.
Me too, bro.
Dude, it was almost a year ago.
Bro.
Yeah, just over a year.
Yeah, just over a year.
So crazy to think how far you and I both kind of flipped
crazy,
in a year,
bro.
Now we're here.
So sick.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll run into both of you guys at a competition. That way we can.
Well, I was gonna say if you
we'll just see you at Worlds. How about that?
I was gonna say we'll see you at Worlds. Yeah, and then you guys have to compete against each other.
Oh fuck, dude!
It's all right. You and like 70 other fucking people. So whatever. So don't fucking matter. Don't matter. Yeah. So competitors or not. So.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Well, cool. It was good chatting with you. We'll have you back on after Canadia's.
So dude. I'm excited to hear about
get a rundown about the old Frenchies up there.
Hell yeah.
But yeah.
So guys, keep an eye out for Strongman Bell 1999. And he's coming up in the game. No, for real, take a good advice from this man. He's not scared to go out there, travel some shit, take some risks, and look at where he's progressed in a very short amount of time. So keep an eye out for him. And link in the bio, as always. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good shit.
Yeehaw.
So
we will we'll see you next week. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Gav. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.